Welcome to Psychic Connection, Collaboration over Competition. Today I have Kathy and Denise with me, and I'm so excited. They are phenomenal psychics and psychic mediums. So Kathy, if you could just raise your hand so we know who you are. Yeah, and we have Denise right next to her. Yeah, those two lovely ladies work together. So my first question is, how did you two meet? And then how did you decide that you did want to work together?
We went to a development class for mediums.
Okay.
And there was a very old psychic medium, physical medium as well there. Her name was Elsie Mastic. And she was a wonderful teacher for us. And we sat around a table every week with probably a good 8 mediums. And she taught us the craft of physical mediumship. And she was just a blessing, you know, for us. And Kathy and I met there, and we struck up a friendship. And one of the things that was kind of rare was Kathy and I, it's very rare to have the gift of physical mediumship. And Kathy and I had the gift, and she kind of sat with us and brought that gift out in us and said that normally people have to sit for 2 to 5 years in order to have table movement and, you know, these you know, phenomenons occur, and it happened right away for us. So we knew we were meant to work together. It was really neat.
It was meant to be. Yeah. So when you talk about physical mediumship, just explain to the viewers, you know, what exactly that is.
Physical mediumship, it comes from your chakra.
Your solar plexus.
Your solar plexus.
And we raise our vibration. When we sit with a group in a seance, it's all about raising vibration. So we ask the group to sit there and we sing and we do some ancient chants, and Kathy leads us through a Tibetan chant, a very ancient sacred Tibetan chant that Kathy does. And then we feel the energy of the table sort of start to vibrate, and spirits come in and our angels come in, and then the evening starts. It's amazing.
So that's okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Back to Reverend Elsie. We were so impressed with her. She was the last one in Trenton that had a Unitarian church. And we were very honored to be taught by Reverend Elsie.
Wow, so she was truly your mentor. She was an excellent mentor for you. Yeah.
She was.
She was.
Right. Okay. I wanted to go, because we're talking about seances. Can you go back and just explain the whole process of how it works, you know, your way for a seance?
Well, the most important thing is, before we start the seance, we do a lot of protection.
And explain your protection. Yeah.
We sage the table, and we sage everybody from head to toe as soon as they get in.
Okay.
And people are very happy about that, because with physical mediumship, people are very skeptical.
Yeah. And we have our guides. Kathy and I work with. Mine is Roger, and hers is Abigail.
Okay.
And Roger and Abigail are with us for our whole lives. And we also have a gatekeeper named Lydia, and Lydia makes sure that only good spirits of God's white light come through. So she's sort of, you know, weeds out any earthbounds or any other spirits that, you know, would want to come through that are not, you know, welcome. Only spirits of God's white light. And, you know, we definitely do a ritual. We have a prayer. We say, you know, non-denominational prayer. Right. We call in our angels and our guides and, you know, our ascended masters. And then, like Kathy said, we sage and we protect. We're huge into protection. And we also do that at the end. And we also do grounding of all the clients that come to.
And we only ask God for the good. We do not like to give any sad news. People are very skeptical with this physical mediumship.
Right.
So we try to ask for the good.
Validation, evidential mediumship, validation. Now, one thing that's important with physical mediumship, most of the time, if you go see, which is, you know, physical mediumship or a seance, you know, in that sense, messages aren't given. It's just about the phenomenon of the action of the table. And we also give evidential messages at the same time. So it's kind of a very rare thing, because physical mediumship, you're vibrating here. Then evidential messages, you're vibrating at a higher rate. So you're kind of switching back and forth, you know, between these two realms to give messages and also hold the energy. So it can be very tiring.
Yeah.
The table is quite diverse. If a younger spirit comes in, it's quite more active. And sometimes the table is actually dancing. The joy of the
Wait,
loved
we got to
ones
try to
that
get a
come through.
picture of the table actually dancing.
It just goes all over the place. Parental energy, the table will rock. The parental energy comes through, the table will rock like you're rocking a baby.
Right.
Angelic energy, the table undulates like this.
Right.
All different ways the table moves. It's amazing.
Can it move a very long distance?
You can walk across the floor if you're not
can.
sitting in a circle. Yeah.
Can it ever tip up?
Mm-hmm. It can tip up. It can almost tip up to the point where it falls over.
It can levitate.
It can, yeah, we've had
It
levitation.
can actually come off the ground?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
And the most important thing is we use the same table. We have been using this table for 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
You could use any table, but we
Right.
love this table, and it's, the energy of the table is amazing too. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys connected with the table connected with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. So this kind of is another good segue into the seances, because I'm sure people are very fascinated with seances. When there is a seance, has anything negative at all come through, or is it truly all positive?
Well, if there is negativity, just one time we close everything down.
Okay, if you start to feel anything negative, you just shut it down.
In our lifetime, in our 10 years of doing this, we had to shut down just one time.
Just one time. Okay.
That was it.
That
People
was-
have a lot of fear with seances. The
Yes.
name is kind of, a scary name, but it's really about spirit coming through, connecting
right.
through the table. Spirit moves the table. So you have evidence of that physical movement from spirit on the other side, as well as the messages we give. And everybody leaves with healing, and they all feel better.
Eventually, when we start, everybody has their energy on the table, but during the middle of the seance, the table is actually on its own. Denise and I lightly touching it. We let the customer sit back and relax. And the table moves to whoever the spirit's there that they want to talk to.
Okay. Do you have any interesting stories that you can share, like memorable ones of a seance?
Yeah, we have a few. We have, there was one in particular where a woman was seated, and when we book a seance, one person will call us on the phone and say, hi, this is, Mary, and we want to book a seance, and then they bring, let's say, 8 people with them, and we don't know who those people are.
Right.
So during that evening, one of the ladies who was sitting there had one of her legs very swollen, lymphedema. And we had messages where, she had to go and she had to be seen, and, telling her to take care of this. Excuse me. The next day, with the energy that came in through the table that night, she called and she said she's had this lymphedema for 20 years and her leg was normal size the next morning. She was absolutely amazing.
So there were healing energies, I guess, going on there.
Healing.
People
have come off drugs. People are, validated from loved ones. Kathy, there's another story. The lady who had the Frenchman, you want to tell that one?
Husband was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig in the beginning of their marriage, and she really never got to hug him. I mean, she hugged him, but the table actually slowly came up to her.
Yeah.
And he wanted a hug.
It gave her peace, and she could finally move on. You know.
And you know what?
It's okay.
What else the table does? Yeah, people want to know special dates, anniversaries, birthdays, and then we ask the table, when is so and so's birthday, and we start counting 1:30 or something, and it will actually stop at the date it's supposed to.
That's really interesting.
And when we ask questions, if the table does not move, the answer is no. And if the table tips, the answer is yes.
Yes. Okay. And then you actually get full messages too, right?
Full messages from spirit.
From spirit too. Wow. Truly fascinating. And I'll have to interject. I actually did attend one of the seances that Kathy and Denise had. And even though I do have mediumship abilities, I was still a little hesitant because I never worked with the table before. But it was really beautiful. It wasn't scary. It was calming. It was amazing how the table, does move. But, Kathy and Denise, they bring forth messages. So it was truly wonderful, and really really not anything to be scared about. And yeah, I know I got messages, from my sister, and everybody in the room did get messages, and it truly was a beautiful experience.
Thank you.
Well, you know what we did to make it more fun?
And you have
a lot of Christian or religious music.
Mm-hmm.
Now we use different upbeat, fun music.
Yes, I remember the song you used because it was Ain't No Mountain High, and that's the song I always associate with my sister who's passed away, so it was wonderful that worked out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Denise, I'd like to focus on you for just a minute. You're an artist and you give classes, and you came up with something new, like a new class. So can you please explain a little bit more about that?
Yes. In creation of our website, which we just launched, which is very exciting, I thought of putting together a class where I combined, art with mediumship.
Right.
So what I did was I created a class called Sixth Sense Painting, and adults come, and you come into the class, and we have big canvases, and I teach everybody how to ground, how to meditate before we start. We also go over colors and what different colors mean to them, the meanings of different colors as far, spiritually. And we sort of make a map and a palette for us to begin. And then people really paint abstractly, more or less, or with an abstract expressionist style. They paint from their heart and from their spirit. And it's amazing what they can create, in the course of several hours during this class. And it's a lot of fun to come with your friends, and, just listen to some music and learn a few things about grounding and meditating and color theory. It's a lot of fun.
So, but I have a question, because I know I'm not artistic whatsoever. So what about someone who isn't really artistic? Would it still be okay for them to try it out?
It's actually better.
Okay.
If you have no ability whatsoever, you're coming in with no expectation.
Right.
So it's the world is your oyster. You come in and you're ready to go. And again, we're not painting, it's not about realism. I mean, if that comes through, that's fine. But, very abstract, very, very free painting. Sometimes people who are artists come in and they have a harder time because they have expectations, and, they have to put that aside in order to let, everything else sort of come out onto the canvas.
Wow. That sounds really interesting. I think I'm going to give it a shot myself.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. Now, Kathy, I wanted to ask you, when did you start realizing you had intuitive abilities?
Well, I didn't have these abilities, or I didn't use these abilities when I was younger. I actually, this sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was hormone changes or what. Actually, after menopause.
Okay. Yeah, that can happen, right?
And you know what? I can never find that article, but there was an article about this, and I still cannot locate it. But when I start going to Reverend Elsie, that's where my abilities start increasing.
Right, and that's when you realized it. Okay.
But first, it came very slowly. First, the physical mediumship.
That came quick.
That came really quick. And I wasn't able to get the clairvoyant. And then all of a sudden, about 6 months later, along with the physical mediumship, then I start getting the whispers and all the other
flashcards.
The flashcards and everything. So mine came a little later in life.
Right, that's true. That's with me. It definitely came later in life. So are you more visual, or do you get thoughts, or do you hear things, or do you get feelings?
I'm more clairvoyant. I'm more clairvoyant. I get whispers, and I get in my head. I get flashcards coming down. I actually see flashcards.
So you get visuals. Yeah.
Yes.
Of flashcards.
Yes, very simple.
Like pictures.
Yes, pictures, yes.
Like flashback pictures.
Yes,
Okay.
not a big story, just simple, you know, right to the point.
Right to the point. Okay.
And I get when I'm during my sessions, I have to be very, very quiet so I can hear what's going on. Like we just had one today.
Right.
And you want to hear how crazy this was?
I can't wait to hear how crazy it is.
No, it was Denise and I with a few ladies.
Right.
So Denise I don't listen to what Denise has to say because I have to listen.
Wait, what was that? You don't listen to what Denise has to say?
Never, never. I don't even know what she's saying because I'm too busy trying to obtain my own information.
We were doing a semi-private, 2 women.
Oh, with 2 women, okay.
So now she was on and on talking, and then I was obtaining my information,
Right.
and I said the same thing she said.
No way, but I believe it. I believe it.
And she goes, well, I wasn't listening to what she was saying. and they were laughing, the girls, you know?
Right. Well, you both tuned in, you know?
Yeah, we have our guides, and they're both sometimes coming through with the exact same messages.
Guess what? We both had a similar dream. That's something new that happened to us.
I've heard of that. I've never experienced it, but I've heard of that. So tell us a little bit about the dream. I can't wait to hear about this one.
Okay, so this is eerie. So since I'm, maybe like the past maybe 20 years, I've been having this repetitive dream about Sylvester Stallone.
Oh.
But I'm not about Sylvester Stallone. Like, who cares about Sylvester Stallone?
I don't care about
And she doesn't care about Sylvester Stallone. So I've been having this dream, and I'm invited to a party at his house, and I arrive, and he shows me to the guest room, and he shows me around the house, and there's the party in the back. And I get ready and I dress for the party and I go outside and it's, it's this whole event.
And she never told me about it.
I never told her this. So I'm driving one day in the car and she says to me, oh, I had the weirdest dream last night. I said, what was that? She goes, well, I was invited to Sylvester Stallone's house for a party.
Oh my God.
She described the house and everything. I'm like, what? I almost crashed the car. I couldn't believe what she was telling me. Because I've been having this dream for 15 years and then she just had the dream. So maybe Sylvester Stallone will look for a reading.
I don't know. Maybe it's meant for the 2 of you to read for him.
Maybe. And then I researched it, and apparently he embraces mediumship, and he's all about that. So
well, I'm hoping maybe he sees this. I don't know, somehow, some way, or maybe somebody sees it and tells him about it.
That'd be great.
But promise me, if he gets in touch with the 2 of you, you'll let us know.
We'll bring you in your suitcase.
No, I don't have to go. I just want to know if it actually does come out. I have a feeling.
Okay.
I have a feeling it might. Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Oh, I love that. That's great. So you ladies have a phenomenal amount of intuitive abilities. So please let us know, with your business, what services exactly do you offer?
We offer a myriad of services. We, of course, as we discussed, we do our seance work. What is also taken off from there, we do gallery work where we will go to people's homes. You gather about 8 people together and we will sit for several hours and we give messages to everybody just sitting around in like living room situation, which is a lot of fun.
Right.
We also do private readings, 101.
Right.
Palm readings.
Palm readings. We're certified Vedic palmists.
Yes.
Yep. Tarot. We do not do like you. That's the only thing we probably don't do is your gift, your tarot.
Right.
We leave that for you.
We leave that for you. You're the tarot expert.
Let me just interject a minute. They did read my palm at one time too, and that was truly amazing. I mean, they did mediumship with me, but also palm, and that's something I can't do. But I was so impressed how much you can tell actually from your palm.
Palm is our life chart, and lines in your hand will also change, as time goes by.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, very ancient, 2,000-year-old, craft. Yeah. And we also are Reiki masters, so we do Reiki healing and energy work and chakra balancing. We've been doing a lot of that lately. And we do another fun thing. We do Turkish coffee cup readings.
That's cool.
Which is another new service we have. My dad is Turkish, so he taught me that, and then I taught Kathy how to read the cups, and it's a lot of people really like that. That's
yeah. So you have such a wide variety services. So if someone is interested, which I can't believe they wouldn't be because you have so much to offer, how do they contact you?
So our website, right?
Yes, we have a beautiful new website.
Right?
And you know, Phyllis, we get a lot of repeaters. They like to come 2 weeks later, and we won't allow that.
Right. The proof
You
is
know,
in
we
the
like,
pudding, right?
yes, we
Yeah.
just had a lady today,
Mhm.
but we told her a good 6 months.
Right. Every 6 months is okay. But before that, sometimes messages repeat. You know, you have to live it out. So, so our website is empirespsychicmediums.com.
Right.
And we also, you can get in touch with us that way. My phone number's on there. And you can look at all the services that we have there as well. And it tells a little bit about us and our bio and everything as well. And there's an article in the newspaper that was written about a seance, which is a lot of fun to read on our website.
Great. That's excellent. And also at the end of this show, with the credits, we will put your names and we will put your website also in case, you know, somebody didn't get to write it down quickly enough. It will be at the end. So please watch for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, do that. So I'd like to ask you too, do you have any advice for someone who maybe is just starting out, realizing their intuitive abilities, or they want to expand their intuitive abilities? What advice would you give them?
Trust yourself.
That's
Trust
a good one.
your gut.
Yes, that's a good one. Mm-hmm.
Trust yourself. That's the number one thing.
Number one. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And we also do workshops for new mediums.
You do workshops.
We do that as well, where we can teach you how to heighten and strengthen your abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And we do seminars. We actually have one next week, a big seminar on the craft of mediumship. But also, in addition to trusting yourself, it's also very important to breathe. It's all about the breath and meditation.
And the most important is all sources come from God.
Yes. Yeah.
All from God's source.
Yeah.
So ask for God's white light.
Mm-hmm.
Only let in spirits of God's white light. Breathe. There's a definite way to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
In order to, you know, heighten your abilities, in order to center yourself. And it's about opening your chakras and closing your chakras down, your energy points. There's definitely a process, but, you know, if you really, really trust yourself and trust what you're getting, one of the best things to do is get a journal and write down what you're getting in your journal. And in your dreams
Very true.
is usually the first place you get messages. So when you wake up and you're kind of in that groggy state, write down the messages you're getting and date it, because you'll notice sometimes later things will repeat and come true.
And you know what's the most gratifying, Phyllis?
What is
when we give validation and it hasn't happened yet, and weeks, days, when the customer calls us back.
Right.
That is the most gratifying of everything.
I have to agree. Yes, that happens. Or somebody will email me and say, oh yeah, you know, remember you told me this? It actually came out. And it makes you feel good because now here it actually is. And another point too, right? It doesn't always have to happen immediately. You know, some people think, oh, well, it didn't happen the following week. So sometimes it could take even years. Okay, so here's another segue into, I have 2 questions from our viewers. So if you could please answer. And the first question comes from Danielle. And she would like to know, will my stepdaughter reconcile with my husband?
I don't, that's going to take a while.
Take a while? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I see some tension.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah, there has to be an effort made from the husband first, I feel, to reach out.
Mm-hmm.
It has to come that way first. And say, let's make a meeting, let's sit, let's talk. But it's going to take some time, but it has to be from him first. It's not going to go the other way.
It won't go the other way. Wow.
I see some really lots of tension.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for answering the first question. And our second question and last question is from Mish. And she asked, how do you differentiate between your intuitive information and your personal thought process?
Well, after you are trained and you're a trained medium, you understand the channel that the message is coming from. It's a different feeling. It's rather than it just being, your thoughts. It's a feeling, it's a sensation. You also have all the clairs with that. You may smell spirit. You may taste something that, you may obviously see
Yeah,
clairvoyantly. You may hear whispers.
Yes.
So yeah, so when you open your clairs and you open up your chakras and you're open to spirit, it's a lot different channel than just getting thoughts in your head.
I don't keep my channels open all the time. What happened is my girlfriend's husband passed away 3 years ago, and it was his birthday. Well, she said, you know, can you have any messages? To be honest with you, I didn't have any messages.
No, you just
I
did.
had to give her my personal information just to make her feel a little better that he's in a good place.
Right.
But I told the truth. I have no information to give you right now.
When spirit also comes close, I mean, I know I do, and Kathy has this feeling that you almost feel like they're piercing your aura a little bit, your space, and they're drawing near when you get your messages. So that's also an important thing to look for when you're starting out.
Yeah. I know if I'm picking up on messages, once in a while, I'll get like a nervous energy, and then I'll know a spirit is there. Do you feel that? Like
Nervous energy, you can get like goosebumps all over when they draw close.
Yeah.
And also when spirit comes close and almost touches you, it'll feel like cobwebs on your skin, like you're walking through a spider web.
Yeah.
So that's another way you know that you're drawing.
Yeah.
Or you get tingling during meditation, you know, especially here by your third eye, you get tingling. Yeah. But even if you're not to that point yet, you understand, you know, that's why it's important to write those thoughts down.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I always write down my dreams when I wake up and keep them. And then you can go back periodically and see if, you know, certain things come out, right? Yeah. Yep. So, well, I'm sorry we are out of time. It was wonderful to speak with the two of you and wonderful to see you both. So I'd like to thank you so very much, Denise and Kathy.
Thank you. It means a lot from our very talented tarot medium reader, Phyllis, our friend, who we've done events with you as well, and we know your gifts are amazing as well.
Right, and hopefully, you know, in the future, when things kind of go back to somewhat normal, maybe we can do a couple more events.
Would love to.
Yeah, again. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Thank you, viewers. I hope you tune in again. So before I sign off, I just want to remind you, please go to my website, readingsbyphyllis.com, and go to the contact page and send in questions, because at the end of each show, we will have the psychics and mediums answer, you know, one of your questions. So please do that. So we're signing off now, and God bless. Take care.